All right, in this video, I'm going to break down 3 key actions that led to 30% plus growth after I got involved with Kinslips. I was hired as their chief of staff and was tasked with growing the business, both from a manufacturing perspective, and ultimately I got involved with running the sales department. And these are the 3 main things that I believe led us to grow the business. So Kinslips, or these sublingual strips, they came in these little packs of 10 or 20 slips, right? So here's 20 slips in a little wallet is how we sold them. It was a really cool, creative, innovative product. And they were also really hard to sell because they were more expensive than your standard edible. And they were just different. They required education and a lot of work. So we had to be very efficient as a business if we wanted to grow. So the first thing that really led to this growth is something that translates to any business. And there's this theory that says that it takes 20 touches to get to a sale, right? So what we did was map out what is this journey and how is it that we're going to get to 20 touches with a potential customer. Now, a touch can be a lot of different things, right? If we zoom in here, a touch is a visit. A touch is following us on social media or a like, sending them an email, connecting on LinkedIn. Maybe it's paid media, earned media, an event activation, networking event, a secret shopper, whatever it may be, right? Come up with a list, right? This was our list, social post, all these different ways that someone could interact with the business, right? And your goal is to get to 20. And then the next thing you do is you want to map out this journey for the customers, right? And so the 7 key steps, I have them listed here, is step 1, they've never heard of you. Step 2, they're aware of you. Then they're interested in you. Then they're ready to order. Then they've placed their first order. Now they've placed their second order or first reorder. And then they become a recurring customer / customer for life, right? So these are the 7 steps right here. Feel free to copy these and write them down. And then what you want to do is go in and say, okay, which of these touch points are we going to include at any given point for any customer, right? So if someone's never heard of Kinslips, here's all the different ways that we can get that first touch point, right? We can do an in-person visit. We can follow them on social media. We can send them an email, right? And then once they're aware, which one is going to be more of an option for us, right? So that's sort of what these were. Okay, these can work for awareness. Then once they're interested, okay, now we're going to get their number. We're going to be more involved with a call or a text. Indus was our sales group. So it's saying, okay, we're going to have a sales group, go visit them in person and maybe get that first order across the finish line, right? So this is what you're going to want to do for your business. Write down these 7 separate steps and then come up with all the different ways that you can have a touch point with your customer and map out where in your sales process you're going to get to 20 touches to get these customers in order to become a customer for life. The second most important thing that we did was create dashboards that mattered and that we obsessed over, right? So this is a very simple dashboard here on the right. This is something I created in Coda, which is the software I'm currently using now. I love Coda, but I created this dashboard and these were the only numbers that I would look at, right? Month over month. I took over the sales in February. We had a little bit of a dip in March, but then I think this was at the very beginning of May. So we were pacing towards a great May. But there were only 3 numbers that I was looking at, right? I was looking at unique accounts. So how many unique customers did I sell to that month? How many total cases did I sell that month? Right? To see, am I discounting too much? Am I increasing the amount of cases that I'm selling? How's that looking? And then total sales, right? You want a very simple dashboard that you're chasing. And I actually was really happy that I have this because I took this photo. This was in August, so clearly a little bit later. But I had this like felt board with these little pieces that I would plug in. And every single day I would update this number. And I had to do it manually, right? I had to go in and I had all the numbers at my desk, but it made it so that I was so attached. I never wanted that number to be the same for too long, right? So when you have these dashboards that are showing you what is it that matters, it makes it so clear what you should be spending your time doing and what you should be focusing on. If you have dashboards that are showing you 100 different numbers and 100 different ideas of how to spend your time, it can be easy to get distracted, feel like you're overwhelmed, feel like you're working hard but not really moving the needle. This is what mattered, sales. And so this was my physical dashboard that I kept right behind my desk, and I loved getting the opportunity updated. I wanted to get a sale every day. I hated when I didn't move any of these numbers, and a good salesperson will feel similar. So you need to give them a dashboard that they want to update every single day so that they're really trying to drive sales. And then this was maybe my proudest accomplishment here. This was how we increased the efficiency of our business. I can't even explain. I mean, 30%, 40% alone. This little chicken scratch looking dashboard. What this was we created an incentive that said we would create this product in batches, right? We would make a couple hundred cases at a time. So a couple hundred of these wallets we would make at a time, somewhere between 100 and 200. And we were making 5 batches per month, and we were averaging about 60 to 70%. Call it 60% because we were really on the lower end. We were averaging about 60% yield, meaning if we had ingredients to get 100 cases, we were only getting 60 cases of final product made. And so I wasn't sure the exact answer of how to get that number higher, but I knew it could be much higher than 60%. And I thought 85% felt like a good target. And I also felt like 5 in a month was a little low. We could probably do one more if the team just worked a little more urgently. And so what we did, there were 6 people on this manufacturing team. And so what I did is I created this incentive system. Pardon my chicken scratch, but hopefully you'll see how it makes sense. So there was, if we look here, right, it was saying total batches is that there were 6 as the goal and a minimum of 5. If they got to all 6 batches, they would get $600 put into a pool to be split between them. So in this particular month, they did 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They got 6 across the finish line. So they got 6. They were getting paid $600. And then individually, each of these batches, there was an opportunity to get a bonus of $100 if they got at least 85% yield, right? So if the goal, the target, the 100% yield, for example, for this one was 55 cases, or then if they got 47, well, then if they got 47, that was more than 85, and they would get paid that amount. So 47 of 55, or 52 is what their actual was of 55. So they got paid $95 because that's 52 out of 55 cases, 95%. So across the board here, all of a sudden, this was like one of the first months we implemented this. And this is how many cases we were expecting to make, right? So we went from making 60% to all of these are hitting, right? The dollar they got paid was the percent, right? So $95 meant 95% yield, $88, 88% yield. This was the only one they missed. They got 81%, so they didn't get paid this $81, but they got 87, 93, right? So then between the team, they got an extra $1,000 or so this month. But the difference from a business standpoint, right? We sold these for about $15 a case on average, maybe, right? So if I add all these up, this is the goal amount of cases. It was 826 cases. 60% of that would be 495 cases, or about $90,000 of total potential sellable product. And once we got it up to 85% yield, it jumped to $126,000 of sellable product. That's $35,000 of additional revenue generated with the same amount of materials, labors, and it only cost us about $1,200. It was $600 for this bonus, and a little under $600 for the rest of the bonus. That was like a 30 times ROI on the investment. So that's why I say a good dashboard focuses your team. It can incentivize the team. A good dashboard can really grow your business. And then the third thing that we did was surprise and delight the sales team. Whoever is selling your product needs to be one of the biggest top priorities for you, right? So this is just some screenshots I have, right? We had an intro meeting and I asked the team what they needed. They said they wanted a one-page sales sheet. So right after the intro meeting, I made a one-page sales sheet for them. And what is the sales team saying? Awesome, thanks. Thank you, Michael. This is perfect, right? Dustin said, this is better than I anticipated. Thanks again for sending, right? You want your salespeople to feel like you work for them. If you have a third-party sales team or if you have a sales team in-house, these people should feel like heroes. Sales is so hard. You're going out there, you're getting rejections, you're saying no, you're getting beat up. You want to feel like the people at HQ or the people behind the scenes have your back and are there to support you. And you want to make sure they are enabled to sell and they have the tools needed to sell. Another way that I surprised and helped them was I came up with incentives that I offered, right? So this is saying, this was an incentive that I offered to one of the accounts, and I said, "Hey, I'm just going to pay cash to whichever employee sells the most." And he says, "I got the bud tenders talking shit to each other. It's great, right?" This was the manager, Jose, and he was saying, just by having this incentive, people were selling it like crazy. But then Eddie, who was our salesperson, you think Eddie is pretty excited to get this email? He didn't even have to do outreach. Because of something I did to support him, Eddie attached as our next order for Kinslips. Boom. Tony was our brand ambassador. Let's get another demo day and let's go. Once we get some more promo products, flowing, right? Flowing. So again, these are the three main things that you can implement at almost any CPG business or any business that's very sales organized or where you have to create a product, right? The 3 steps, right? Number 1, map out your sales process. How are you going to get 20 touches to the sale? How are you going to get this from a customer from having not heard of you to 20 touches? Number 2, what are your dashboards chasing? And how are you going to make a dashboard incentivize the team and motivate the team to focus on what matters most? And then number 3, how are you going to surprise and delight the sales team? Sure, the customer is valuable, but set your sales team up to be motivated to sell your products. So this was an example of how when I was chief of staff at Kinslips, I very quickly got involved and started growing the business aggressively. And if you want some tips on how we could implement some changes like this to your business, be sure to check out my page, follow my accounts, and you'll see more videos like this, and reach out if you want to talk about how we can implement some of these